Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Blanc blindside. And over here, we have a nice example of a Blanc de Blanc, but it's not a Blanc de Blanc champagne, maybe because it's not produced in the region of Champagne. This guy is actually coming from Cavespring, from the 𝗪𝗵𝘆 bench. A bottle fermented in the traditional method, aged on its lees for 30 months. Okay, 30 months. So what's that? That's 2.5 years. This is a beautiful expression of Blanc de Blanc, especially at this price point. Okay, this guy's only 30 bucks. 30 bucks. To get something of this quality in Champagne, you're looking at paying a minimum of $60. Nice, easy sipping on the patio, right? Today was such a beautiful day outside. 20 degrees, right? Slightly chilled, this guy. 14 degrees is okay. You want to go down to 12, but nothing cooler than that. Whereas you're going to numb all the flavors of fruit. This guy, you're going to get lots of apple and pear, toasty brioche, very, very dry, very, very crisp, good minerality, good acidity, very well balanced. This guy, simple stuff with like crostini and goat cheese. You're in heaven with that. Okay, nice and simple. Welcome back to Wine and Whiskey with Steve. It is that time of the week where we are whining. Actually, we're probably whining as we're rolling out of the bed this morning at 6 o'clock, but it is time for Winey Monday Night Trivia. And coming off such a great weekend that we had, Mother's Day weekend, so I hope everybody had an awesome time with your family, with your mother. We got the answers locked and loaded, so now it's time to look at the results, see where we stand, right? So who's on the right side of the fence, who's on the wrong side of the fence? So we said that we're going to up the difficulty of the questions, and I think we achieved that this week, and we're going to continue to progressively increase the rigor of the questions as we go forward. Okay, so I think without further ado, we can get to the answers. But I mean, I have this guy here that's kind of staring at me, and I have this guy here too that's staring at me. Maybe I'll talk about this guy a little bit later. But this guy, I think we're going to get to right away because he may help with question number 1, right? So again, thank Maestro for the increased rigor. Thank you guys for doing your homework and participating. So I guess let's see where we stand with this. Okay, so without further ado, number 1. Okay, question number 1 had to do with what type. Very important to look at the details of the questions, right? Sometimes there's hints in the questions. Don't really have to look at the answers. More sometimes you have to look at the question than looking at the answers. Okay, so with this guy here, what type of grape is in a Blanc de Blanc champagne? Okay, and that's the key here. We're talking about champagne. Okay, so the options we had Chardonnay, we had Viognier, we had Chenin Blanc, and then any other white grape. Now, when you're talking about Blanc de Blanc, I mean, Blanc de Blanc means white of whites. But when we're looking at our options here, okay, they are specific to Champagne, okay, the Champagne region in France. 99% of the grapes that are grown in the Champagne region of France are, number 1, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier. Okay, 99% of all the plantings in Champagne region of France are comprised of those 3 grapes. Now, what other white grapes are grown in France in the Champagne region? Well, you don't have Chenin Blanc. Okay, you don't have Viognier. You do have Pinot Blanc. You have Pinot Gris. You have, I think it is Petit Meslier. And then I think it's Arbonne or something like that. Okay, but those are the other 4 grapes. And when it comes to making champagne in the region of France, it is Chardonnay. That's the grape that they're using there. Okay, so Chardonnay is the correct answer for this one. It's not any other white grape because you can't have any white grape being grown in the Champagne region of France. Right? There are laws that protect against that. You have certain varietals and that's it. And of those varietals, Chardonnay is the one that is going into Blanc de Blanc Champagne. Okay. So, and over here, we have a nice example of a Blanc de Blanc, but it's not a Blanc de Blanc champagne, okay, because it's not produced in the region of Champagne. This guy is actually coming from Cavespring, from the 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗆 bench on Niagara, so Ontario. Okay, and this guy here is 100% estate grown. So just a little bit about this guy here. Okay, so this guy here is coming from the 𝗪𝗵𝘁𝗆 bench, and he's bottle fermented in the traditional method that they use in France, so exact same style, aged on its lees for 30 months. Okay, 30 months. So what's that? That's 2.5 years, right? 2.5 years on the lees prior to disgorging. Okay, this is a beautiful expression of Blanc de Blanc, especially at this price point. Okay, this guy's only 30 bucks. 30 bucks. To get something of this quality in Champagne, you're looking at paying a minimum of $60. Okay, easily. There is no vintage declared on this. Okay, so this is going to be taking grapes from different years, putting them into the bottle for the product here. Yeah, to be Champagne, it's a minimum of 12 months on the lees. Okay, and then for Cremant, I believe it's 12 months. Sorry, it's 9 months. 9 months for Cremant, 12 months for Champagne. Okay, and this guy already has 30 months on lease. So incredible value for something like this guy over here. So yeah, so good expressions of this is going to be one of them. And now if we want to compare, New World to Old World, right? We can compare Canada over here for 30 bucks, Cavespring, 30 months on the lease, to, I think it's Nicolas Fouilletti. French pronunciation sometimes fails me, but what can you? But this guy here is a 2014 vintage. LCBO carries him sometimes throughout the year. I think right now they're sold out. So once a year they'll bring this guy around, normally closer to the celebratory time of year where bubblies are popped and everyone's having a good time. So, around December as we approach New Year's, okay, 2014. So keep an eye out for this guy. He comes in at about $60, I believe. So still very good value, okay, for a vintage Blanc de Blanc. Now, what do we want to enjoy these guys with? Oh man, Champagne. Well, nice, easy sipping on the patio, right? Today was such a beautiful day outside. 20 degrees, right? 20 degrees. Finally, I think we're in good spring. Okay, it's almost like we went from winter to summer here. But yeah, beautiful weather. Slightly chilled. This guy. I mean, 14 degrees is okay. You want to go down to 12, but nothing cooler than that. All right, or else you're gonna numb all the flavors of fruit. This guy, you're gonna get lots of apple and pear, toasty brioche. Very, very dry. Very, very crisp. Good minerality. Good acidity. Very well balanced. Okay. This guy, simple stuff with like crostini and goat cheese, you're in heaven with that. Okay, nice and simple. Okay, question number 2. So question number 2, I guess I can get rid of this guy for now. We'll move him to the back shelf over here, and maybe we can bring this guy forward. Okay. So question number 2, what are we looking at here in question number 2? Question number 2, we're looking at which type of grape is not common in wines from Alsace. So Alsace is in the northeast border of France. Okay, very, very popular for their cuisine. Okay, most Michelin star restaurants per capita in Alsace. So our options here, which one's not common in Alsace? Riesling, Pinot Gris, Chardonnay, and Muscats. So not common in Alsace, but very common in Burgundy. Chardonnay. Okay, so Chardonnay is what we were looking at over here. So this guy, when we're talking about the Alsace region, one of the nice things, one of the beauties of Alsatian wines is their label contents. So when you look at other French wines, when you look at, let's say, Bordeaux, or you look at something from the Rhone, they don't identify what grapes are in that bottle, right? The wines are made based on the grapes that are allowed to grow in that region. So Bordeaux, you have left bank, right bank. You're going to have some type of blending of Cabernet and Merlot, maybe some Cabernet Franc, and the left bank, maybe a little bit of Malbec, Petit Verdot. But that's not stated on the label, right? Right on the front of the label, you just have the region, right? You have Médoc, you have Pauillac, right back, Saint-Emilion, Pomerol, but it's not telling you what's in there. right? Which is very different from New World wines. New World wines will usually say, you know, this is a Cabernet Sauvignon, this is a Merlot, okay? But what they do in Alsace is they do declare, okay? And one of the nice expressions that they do there is of their varietal Gewürztraminer, okay? And I think it's Joseph Cattin. They do a very, very nice entry level, very accessible, well priced, only 17 or 18 bucks. Okay, so this Gewürztraminer over here, he's a bit in the off dry style. There's about 22 grams of sugar per liter. Okay, you're going to get lots of lychee in this guy. You're going to get tropical fruits. You're going to get a little bit of honey in them. Okay, and in Canada we have this guy over here. So we have another Gewürztraminer. Okay, Angel's Gate does a very, very nice Gewürztraminer. Again, you get the lychee, a little bit of like a rose water. Okay, great acidity. Now this one is more on the drier style compared to the one from Alsace. This guy here, residual sugar, I think he's coming in about 8 grams, don't quote me on that, but it is much lower than the 22 grams that we're getting over in Alsace. Okay, now this guy over here, so Angel Gate Winery, these guys, they're just so well priced, so affordable, and they do very, very good quality whites and reds. So this guy here is coming from their estate vineyards. They have over 180 acres of estate vineyards. Okay, so, and here they also have limestone soil. So we're talking about limestone in the previous episode, right? How it's very good for allowing drainage, so you can get some nice minerality into the wine. These guys here, they're picked very late in the season, which allows the fruit to ripen, so you can get that nice tropical fruit, get that lychee. Yeah, very, very well done. Again, this guy is only, I think, 16 bucks. Okay, so very nice comparison. You can do Canada versus France and see where your palate takes you. Now, when you're doing food pairing with something like this guy, he's almost similar to the Riesling in terms of what you can pair him with. I like this guy a lot with Asian cuisine. Just because sometimes he does have a little bit higher residual sugar, and you know that citrus, the tropical notes, it does nice with sometimes spicy dishes and foods that have, you know, a lot of seasoning. Okay, so yeah, give him a shot. All right, here we go. Question number three. So you'd like a smooth, full-bodied wine with low tannins to go with your roasted duck. I love roasted duck. Love roasted duck, whether it's in an orange sauce, or in this case, because we're pairing it with red wine, we've got to make sure that it, you know, some type of maybe cherry, cranberry, something like that. Okay, maybe plum. What's your waiter going to bring you? Okay, is it going to bring you a very tannic Cabernet Sauvignon, thick-skinned grape? Is it going to bring you the Nebbiolo from the north of Italy, Piemonte region, very, very high acid, high tannins? Is it going to bring you Syrah? Again, Syrah, dark grape, thick skin, high tannins, or is it going to bring you Merlot? I don't know. What's it going to bring you? Let's see what the answer says. So, yeah, Merlot or Merlot or Merlot. Merlot, right? In France, that's how they pronounce it, Merlot. Now, where did they get the name from? Merlot. Actually, that Merlot has to refer to, I think you can see it over here. I put them in the slide over here. Little bird, the plumage, the color of the bird is kind of like a blackish blue, right? And that is what Merlot is referring to the plumage on that specific bird. Kind of resembles the grape color, the skin color of the grape, that black and blue, nice dark color. But yeah, so yeah, Merlot, Merlot, whatever you want to call it. This guy is the most commonly planted grape in France. Okay, so it beats out Cabernet Sauvignon. Merlot is the king of Bordeaux's region. Okay, now this guy is going to produce a wine that is usually medium bodied. Okay, it's going to have moderate acidity. The tannins are going to be on the lower side when compared to Cabernet Sauvignon, when compared to Nebbiolo, when compared to Syrah. Okay, from the options that we had there, Merlot is going to be your lower tannin wine. So that's the reason why we're going with this over here. Okay. Now he can be made in a whole bunch of different styles, right? Whether you're in the New World or you're in the Old World, depending on whether oak is being used or not. Yeah, this guy can be almost like a chameleon of wines. So again, it's going to depend where he's being made. It's going to depend on the climate, right? Warmer climate. Higher residual sugars, higher alcohol. Then if they're using wood, you're going to pick up on, you know, sweet baking spices, vanilla and clove. So now, two very good examples of this. Okay, we're going to go New World versus Old World. We're going to go to Canada over here, and we'll call now Foreign Affair. So Foreign Affair does a very, very nice Merlot. Accessible price point, $35. Okay, and this is 100% Merlot. No addition of anything else. Okay, no Cab Franc, no Cab Sauv, 100% Merlot. And they do a little bit of Passimento method with this guy. Okay, so increasing the residual sugars, increasing the alcohol, only I think between 10% to 12%, something like that of Passimento. Okay, so not much, not over the top, because Merlot doesn't need that, right? It's already gonna be a nice expression of fruit. It's gonna have, you know, moderate alcohol. So we don't wanna over sweeten it, right? We don't wanna have too high residual sugars. We don't want to have too much alcohol, right? We still want to have balance in the wine. Okay, so that's why only, you know, 10 to 12% of Passimento is done with the Merlot. And then when it comes to oak maturation, they do about, I think it's 16 to 18 months in a combination of American and French oak. Okay, so with the American oak, you're going to get that, again, the vanilla, the clove, okay, and then the French oak, a little bit of the smoke and the cedar. Okay, so very nice balance, very well done. Okay, now on the other side, okay, we go to Old World. And Maestro brought out this guy in the last episode. Okay, so this was a wine that I've never had before. But after doing the tasting and looking him up, doing some research on him, you know, he is a wine that has a reputation for overperforming, delivering more than what you're paying for in the bottle, especially when compared to his counterparts or his competition in Bordeaux. Okay, so we compared this guy to Grand Cru Classé. You know, double the price, and this guy, it came out on top for value and for, again, what was going on in complexity. So again, with this one, you got the dried plums, and then a lot of some tobacco in there, and there's lots of cedar in there, lots of cedar. Very dry, very savory, very, very, very complete, different style than what you're going to get in the New World. Okay, so this is an awesome comparison to do between these two guys. Price point at Chateau Fontenil is about $48. Okay, so 48, 35, a little bit, you know, it's out of, you know, it's upwards into the, you know, out of the $20 range. But you know, these guys are both values in the glass. You don't have to worry, okay, about, you don't have to feel bad about spending a little bit of extra money to experience, you know, this type of quality and in differing styles. Okay, so, and what do you want to pair with this guy? Duck. Or you can keep it simple. See, you get a little bit of cheddar or Gouda with one from the Old World, but with one from the New World, I wouldn't really do the cheese. I think I would like him with some type of, yeah, that, you know, a barbecue duck or roasted duck. Okay, even you can do barbecue steak with them, whatever, but a little bit something with chard and some sticky sauces on it would be good with the New World Foreign Affair Merlot. Okay, here we go. Question number four. Again, we're going to France. Which of the following grape is found in white Bordeaux? Okay, white Bordeaux. Is it going to be A? Is it going to be the Sauvignon Blanc that brings a little bit of the gooseberry and brings a little bit of lemongrass and fresh cut grass to the wine and nice acidity? Is it going to be B, Riesling? Is it going to be petrol? Is it going to be honey? Is it going to be apricot? Is it going to be C, Chardonnay? So apple, pineapple, maybe a little bit of brioche if you're using some wood. Or is it going to be D, Viognier, stone fruit, peach, nectarine? So Bordeaux, white Bordeaux, we're talking about a Sauvignon Blanc. Okay, Sauvignon Blanc is going to be the backbone of your Bordeaux in France. Very, very, very much valued for its nice, crisp, clean acidity, minerality, tropical fruit, gooseberry. Mentioned already the like that cut grass, sometimes cat's pee that you get off of your Sauvignon Blanc. But your Sauvignon Blanc is not standing alone. Okay, your Sauvignon Blanc needs a little bit of help. Okay, you need to round out the body, fill out the body a bit, and that's what they do exceptionally well in Bordeaux. So you take your Sauvignon Blanc, and you marry it with some Semillon. Okay, the Semillon is going to be a bigger, fuller style of wine. It's going to be more waxier, it's going to be oilier, gives more body. Now, what you also find happening in Bordeaux is, so you can have your light and crisp Bordeaux, white Bordeaux, that are going to be predominantly Sauvignon Blanc with a splash of Semillon. It's going to be unoaked stainless steel, right? But then you can have your fuller bodied, where you have maybe a higher percentage of Semillon, maybe 50-50, 50% Semillon, 50% Sauvignon Blanc. But then there is also some fermentation in wood, in oak, okay, and that gives it, again, bigger, creamier mouthfeel. You're going to get a little bit of, butter, a little bit of toastiness to them, okay. And so two very, very, very nice expressions of this. Again, New World versus Old World. So over here, we're going to Creekside, Iconoclast, okay. Now what these guys do, they actually do a 3-to-1 ratio between Semillon to Sauvignon Blanc. So Semillon is the predominant grape in this guy here, okay. And they're doing a good amount of time in some French oak. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head. I think we're looking at maybe between 6 months to 10 months, something like that. Okay, but yeah, the mouthfeel on this guy is awesome, right? So you're gonna get that nice creamy waxiness from the Semillon. You're gonna get a little bit of the Cavespring from the Sauvignon Blanc. You're gonna get nice toastiness from the oak. Okay, very, very well done. Love this wine a lot. Price point is phenomenal. $23. Okay, $23 for this guy. Can't go wrong. Vintages brings him through every so often, but you can always go up to the winery and pick up a bottle or two, okay, or a case. Now we're going to compare that with Sirius. Okay, so Sirius. So this guy, we're going to have an episode coming up on Wednesday for Wine Wednesday. We're going to feature Sirius. This guy is 50% Sauvignon Blanc, 50% Semillon. And they take about only 20%. They take 20% of the grape juice. They ferment that in French oak. Okay, and the other 80% is in stainless steel. But even just that 20% in the oak, there's such a great difference to the mouthfeel, to the weight of the wine. Gives it a nice structure. So yeah, and again, the price point for this is ridiculous. Okay, it's only $17. So this producer that is making this wine here, Sirius, named after the brightest star in the sky, he's a very humble producer. He's trying to overachieve in his wines. Okay, 𝗪𝗵𝘁 Sichel, I believe, is the producer. I'm probably butchering his name, but again, my apologies. 𝗪𝗵𝘁 Sichel, Sichel, I believe it is. Okay. Again, phenomenal wine, accessible price points, New World versus Old World, can't go wrong. What do you want to pair this guy with? He's so versatile, right? You can do this guy with scallops and beurre blanc sauce. You can also do this guy with roasted chicken. He's very versatile, and he's good just to take him onto the patio and chill and sit back, relax, and enjoy. And we made it to number 5. Remember, stay alive, don't drink and drive. Responsibility. That's good, right? Come on, we could do our part, social responsibility. Okay, here we go. Number 5. During Prohibition, what type of grape was still widely grown in California? Very, very dark time back in the day, Prohibition. Let's hope we don't have to go back there anytime soon. Okay, so was it our very popular 𝗪𝗵𝘁, right? The nice apple and butter and toast. Was it BR again? 𝗪𝗵𝘁. Was it C, Zinfandel? Was it D, Merlot? And the answer is Mr. Zinfandel. Okay, some of the oldest plantings of vines in the U.S. Mr. Zinfandel. Actually brought over from our friends in Italy, right? When they emigrated out of Italy to the U.S. So thank you, our Italian friends, for bringing the Primitivo Zinfandel to the New World. So yeah, Zinfandel was often shipped all the way from California, West Coast to the East Coast, where family winemakers, usually the mafioso, okay, made those Zinfandel grapes into wine. So this is where you have the whole home brew process coming, because we weren't allowed to, well, back in the day, they weren't allowed to sell wine commercially, right? So it could be used for sacramental purposes, could be used in medicines, could be used for flavoring and cooking and food and stuff like that. But you couldn't sell it for profit. but you were allowed to do homebrews. Okay, so I guess this is where we have the big boom of all the little, basement experimentation with concocting and homebrewing your own wines. So yeah, so Zinfandel, two great expressions of Zinfandel, and again, accessible price points. Now, I don't have anything from Canada here because I was going through my head and I'm like, through all my tastings, I haven't had any Zinfandels from Canada. I couldn't find any Zinfandels. So, if you're watching out there, you're a Canadian winery, post in the comments below. Please let me know if you're making a Zinfandel. Yeah, let me know so I can go try it and we can get the word out. Okay, but off the top of my head, I couldn't come up with any. Okay, we know that the counterpart, the old world Zinfandel in Europe, Italy, is going to be your Primitivo. Okay, but we're doing Zinfandel, so I chose two Zinfandels from the US, two that I think are good expressions of the grape, made in slightly different styles and at different price points. Okay, so here we have Ghost Pines, which is 100% Zinfandel. And I think the grapes are sourced from Sonoma County. And we're only looking at about maybe 6 months in, I think, French and American oak. They're using both types of oak in here. Okay, so yeah, with your Zinfandel, you're gonna get this nice big brambly, like black raspberry fruits on the wine. Then you're gonna get, if you're using American oak, you're going to get your vanilla. Okay, you're going to get a little bit of clove, and then the French oak is going to bring a little bit of the smoke and the cedar. Okay, so Ghost Pines, $20, $25. He's a very, very, very nice barbecue wine, and that's where we are right now. Right, we're into the patio, we're into the barbecue. So yeah, whether you're doing some type of a barbecue sauce, glaze, sticky chicken, sticky rib, whatever it is, as long as you have some type of that sweet and savory sauce, okay? Barbecue sauce, which is very, very popular in US for barbecuing, okay? You don't really find that when you go to Argentina, when you go to Italy, when you go to Europe, okay? They're not using barbecue sauces, okay? And that's very important. And when it comes to pairing with American wines, okay? So the higher residual sugars in the wine, the higher alcohol in the wine, the sweetness, the ripeness from the fruits really goes well with that sweet barbecue sauce. Okay, so we have Ghost Pines and we have Seghesio. Okay, Seghesio. This guy's about $30, so it's a little bit more expensive. And these guys, they blend a few varietals into their Zinfandel. So I think it's about 86 to 90% Zinfandel. Then they're gonna put a little bit of Petit Syrah in there for some structure and for some color. Okay, yeah, give it a little bit more tannin. Okay, so two very, very nice wines. You're going to have your black raspberries again. You're going to have that dense fruit. And again, both good for barbecue, both good for sauces. So both available at the LCBO. Okay, so give them a shot, fire up the Barbie, and enjoy your Zin. Okay, wine whiskey lovers. So that ends round 2, week number 1 of grapes. So shout out to Miles Carlisle. Perfect score. David Spencer, perfect score. So 1 point each over there. Michael Marino, very close. Okay, that one question, number 1, Chardonnay, the Blanc de Blanc, the Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Blanc, Blanc de Blanc blindside. Thank you everybody for participating and tuning in. So as we go into round 2, week number 2, we're going to be going to regions. I'm going to send everybody off with a nice, beautiful expression of Gewürztraminer over here. So cheers, everyone, to Value in the Glass, and see you soon.